Call to order the Hamilton County Council meeting Wednesday, October 6th. I have a roll call, please.
Brad Beaver.
Here.
Fred Glenn.
Present.
Steve Swartz.
Present.
Amy Masalamani.
Present.
Ken Alexander.
Present.
Sue Mackey. Here. Steve Nation.
Present.
Madam President, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. I will ask that Councilor Glenn give us the invocation and pledge of allegiance.
All right, everybody bow your heads and pray in your own way, and I'll say a prayer for our country right now, this council. Hopefully we conduct the people's business with the utmost respect and honor, and say a prayer that we exercise some patience in these very trying times. And then pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. This time we'll conduct the public hearing for the 2022 budget, Hamilton County Solid Waste Management District, Hamilton County Airport Authority, and I will open the public hearing. This time we'll ask for public comment. Is there anybody wanting to give public comment? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing. And we will move on to our regular session. May I have a read and approval of the minutes for the 2022 budget workshop that occurred in August?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I have a read and approval of the minutes for our regular meeting on September 1st.
So moved.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. At this time, I will request any public comments regarding items on the agenda this evening. Seeing none, we will move on to committee and officer reports. One item that I have, thank you to Sue Mackey and Steve Schwartz, along with the commissioners, for attending the State Road 37 tour yesterday. It was very, very beneficial. I did want to see if Councilor Nation, Councilor Alexander, Councilor Glenn, or Councilor Beaver had any interest in us organizing a secondary tour so that you guys could participate if your schedules allow. I know that the city and the county would like to give you guys that opportunity, and I'm happy to connect if so.
I would love to have participated last time. I'll reach out to them directly. Obviously have a little bit of experience in that realm, so I'll be happy to come see the great work that we're doing on State Road 37, but I'll reach out. There's no reason to set up anything special for me on that.
Okay. Do you have interest?
Yes, I had another meeting that I
Sure.
could not do that.
Okay, no, that's okay. I just want to make sure that,
But if Ken,
yeah.
I mean, I could go along with Ken when he would be.
I was thinking that too. I mean, given his vast experience in that area that you just mentioned.
That would be inviting to me also.
Well, I think in
Yeah, I
general,
mean,
it
that
would
would be
just be,
beneficial, like riding with him.
they wouldn't want to do it where it's individual, right? So they'd want to do it as the collective. If there's dates that the four of you, if you wanted to go, could work it out. I'll just let them know that there's interest and Ken can reach out. How's that?
That sounds great.
Perfect.
All right.
Okay. I don't have anything else at this time, Mr. Vice President.
I have nothing at this point.
Highway?
Go ahead, Sue. And I'll,
Well, we met yesterday, and as we requested that the highway department shared their meeting minutes with you all, you got it via email, and they have prioritized their upcoming projects, potential ones that are filed with the MPO, or waiting to hear about funds. And they have identified those projects that have yet to be have a funding source identified. That was all emailed to you, and I will get paper copies to you as well for that, and we can go from there.
just one item,
And then several things on the agenda as well, and Steve will share some things.
just one other thing that we did discuss yesterday at our highway meeting, and I would like to have council's input. There is a $2.7 million balance due for this year for the 37 funding. We discussed it yesterday that we can pay that now, or Fishers has opted to say that we can pay them in the first quarter of 2022. Either way, we're still going to owe that balance. I just thought I'd bring it to council's attention, whether you want to go ahead and take care of it now. I don't know that, it should be already in our budget.
We already budgeted that?
Then we should pay it right now.
Yeah,
Let's
I
get over
would
it.
agree.
Yeah, I mean, I think, anyway, yeah, if we put it in the budget, that would be probably the way to go, I think. If we already voted on that part of the budget.
I don't,
Brad, do you have any comment? You're looking at,
Well, are you saying 2021 or 2022, and what does Fishers have to do with?
well, in the past, if you remember, we reimbursed them, I think it was we approved some sort of reimbursement to Fishers, and so I think what it was is that our portion, they can either pay it and we pay them back in the 2022 as an additional, or we can fund it as we have. Am I mistaken on that? Didn't we reimburse Fishers? Could have
I'm
been.
sorry, I can't answer that, I don't know.
Okay.
Brad's here, Davis?
The way this has worked in the past, of course, is we've paid Fishers, and Fishers is taking care of all the administrative work and paying the bills. In this case, and we've let you guys know that there was a potential of them needing 2.7 million from us sometime in the fall of this year in order to carry on the land acquisition, the engineering, the developmental costs leading up to the 141st Street letting in February. Through some efficiencies and things, Fishers has said that they don't really need to have that 2.7 right now, that when the bill comes due for 141st Street interchange, we can add that to that bill and pay them at one time.
And what's that
In
number?
February.
What is that number?
That would be 14.7, is the 12 million anticipated for the letting of the interchange, and then the 2.7 that you would be deferring if you opt to do that. They'll be glad to take our money now, and whatever, is available left, they would apply it to whatever that match is.
I think
It's
that,
your choice, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I think that Ken is correct, and we have figured that into our plan, so we'll write the check in 2021, and we will have a finance committee meeting again between now and next month to just go over that again with Rover exactly.
So then make the request then to be on our November agenda is what I'm hearing. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I guess just a follow-up, the information that was provided, from Brad, thank you for providing that information, has been forwarded on to the finance committee for study.
Yeah,
Sorry, Brad, that stole your thunder.
yeah, no,
Okay. So we'll just ensure that that appropriation is added to the agenda for November, if I'm understanding correctly.
I assume that's appropriated already?
No, that 2.7 is not. I had asked Ken at the last meeting, tell me, if we're doing this, tell me where I need to write that additional appropriation
Right, so
from.
we need to give him guidance for him to ask for that at our November meeting if we want it to come out of general or rainy day, correct?
It'll come out of the highway fund, because I assume it's coming out of the money that's been diverted this year. We'll talk about it with finance and figure that out.
Okay.
I just let me know when.
Thank you, Brad.
All right,
So-
thank you.
do we have anything else we need to bring before council on highway?
No,
I don't think so.
no.
Did you happen to bring those handouts?
The handouts were emailed and.
Oh, perfect.
They'll
No,
get
that's
them
fine.
emailed
No,
tomorrow.
the handouts are all
here,
in
it looks
front
like
of you.
this.
Oh,
Perfect.
Perfect.
It's a
Oh,
highway,
there we go.
it's a highway project, so it's got like folded extra large
Thank you,
paper.
Dawn.
those are just projects that are basically in the loop, and you need to drill down into them, a lot of information there.
Anything additional on highway? Moving on to finance.
We did not have a finance meeting, and as I told you last month, I will go over the ARPA funds when we get to them. There was 4 or 5 that we approved out of the last ARPA meeting.
Thank you.
Okay?
Personnel, we did not meet. Any miscellaneous?
I guess I'll mention, Fred and I met with the sheriff's department to walk through some of the beginning workings on the efficiency study, that KPMG that we'll be talking about here later in the agenda. Fred, do you want to add anything to that?
We could discuss that, I think that's something we could add in, I think, and the sheriff can comment as well, if you right? Got anything to say?
I honestly do appreciate you guys being there.
Okay.
Any other miscellaneous? Seeing none, we'll move on. We have no unfinished, no tabled business. So we will move to new business. We have approval for vendor claims.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item B, grant appropriation reduction, 144 amendment and transfers. Item 1 through 4 can be combined. Those are reimbursements or appropriations through grants.
Motions to combine items 1 through 4. Do I have to read out each one?
You do not, sir?
Second.
So moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Now may I have a motion to approve items 1 through 4?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item B5, Fund 8950, 21.027, ARPA, transfer of $300,000 to White River Regional.
No, that's 3 million.
3 million.
What did I say, 300,000?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my numbers are talking to me strange.
Okay.
White River Regional Opportunity Initiative. Is there a
Yeah.
motion to approve for discussion?
Yeah, that's a.
Motion to approve.
So moved. This one is $3 million that Brenda Myers asked for is as an amount to apply for a $50 million grant. So we approved this amount so she could apply for this bigger grant. And if we don't get the grant, the money isn't spent. And if we do get the grant, we get $50 million. That's the short version, okay?
The 3
This
million.
is-
Go ahead. Well, the 3 million, are they, you know, if they apply for and get this 50 million, is that dependent on more of a regional taxing authority or a regional development authority?
Not as far as I'm aware
I'm
of.
asking her.
Oh,
Yes.
The cities of Carmel, Noblesville, Westfield, and Fishers have applied for, as part of, with the Marion County and the county, McCordsville, Madison County, and Boone County, part of Boone County. They have applied for a $50 million READY grant, and these are the government grants. These are the governor's initiatives, so they're gonna give 10, $50 million grants out of recovery funding to sort of kickstart the economy. And Hamilton County is consuming the largest part of the grants, but it's also contributing the largest part of the public and private matches. And so you all have committed $3 million, $1 million to each city, to Carmel, Fishers, and Noblesville, for drainage-related projects, wetlands reintroduction or something, because they're all White River projects. Does that make sense? So, and again, the IEDC will be choosing the 10 projects that will be getting the $50 million and should know by the end of the year or early in '22. So it really is a pledge. So I don't know how you want to handle that.
But what, because I just remember that White River project, we looked at that. Is it still kind of that same, they're just trying for that same theme? We went down to, was it South Carolina, and looked at this?
This is slightly different. This is different. This is, no, that, I know the one you're talking about. No, this is a 96th Street PUD. It is the west side in Carmel. It is a river education center and a PUD and also a trails implementation program that ties the 3 parks over there together. But there's a whole commercial district that throws off TIF that will support an education center. And then it's the west side of the river over here, Federal Hill Common and Entertainment District. So they're actually public-private projects that total about 150 million, and then there would be the 50 million in ready that would help lift up all 3 of those projects and provide an additional public component. And they are very complicated projects, or I would explain them all to you.
Well, I get that, yeah.
So your 3 million though would be $1 million in each city commitment as a county gesture to support drainage.
And were you able to use ARPA funds for that?
yep.
Okay.
It's all
That's what these are.
drainage related, yeah.
All of these are ARPA. Any other discussion or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Fund 8950, this is 150,000 workforce opportunity analysis. I have a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none,
This again was ARPA money.
yes.
Yeah, they all the way down to 9, right?
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Consulting services in the amount of $50,000 for ARPA reporting requirements. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, this is ARPA money again. This is, I think this request came from the auditor to help with the actual work of putting this stuff together, and there's a lot of it.
I'm sure there it
This
is.
is on the federal reporting side, is that the?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Again, ARPA transfer in the amount of $2,800,000 for the Arcadia wastewater and stormwater improvement project. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, this one, this is a ARPA money again, but this had to do with the Arcadia combined storm and sewer project they've got up there now. It's basically exfiltrating into county drainage system. This project goes in and solves some of those problems. We thought it was a worthwhile move, and there's a lot of other Arcadia and some others that are contributing also, but
And they got some state revolving funds.
they did, and they had to chip in some of their own, but it seemed like a good project to me.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Again, ARPA transfer in the amount of $2.1 million for the White River Campground sewer and water infrastructure. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Any discussion?
yeah, I think everybody understands what this one is, the campground, the septic system failing, they had to buy land and put in a new on-site septic system, and that covers this.
Well, I mean, that's.
We got to scratch that out of the budget, the county budget this year.
These were all projects this was a project that we were looking to do in one way or another at some point in time in the future.
Yeah.
So this is just another opportunity for
It was
funding.
never an opportunity to use ARPA money for something like that. Yeah.
Yep, it was a shelf-ready project.
Any other discussion?
Nope.
Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Move on to item C, ordinance 9-13-21-A, and ordinance amending the personnel policy and employee handbook for employees of Hamilton County, Indiana. I first need a motion to suspend the rules.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And now if I may have a motion to approve on the first reading.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, I'll ask for a motion to introduce Resolution CC-10-06-2021-1A, resolution of the Hamilton County Council approving the advance refunding of the Hamilton County Public Building Corporation lease rental refunding bonds of 2014 and transaction documents related thereto. Is there a motion to introduce?
So moved.
Second.
Hello, sir.
Hello again. I keep coming here and we keep saving money, but it's not because of how smart our team is. It's just we take advantage of this crazy economic environment we're in. These bonds were issued in 2014 for the airport authority in the county to essentially acquire the hangars and the terminal building out at the airport that was in the hands of a private owner. I sent to you, along with the resolution, a savings report showing that between now and the end of 2036, we would save about $946,000. Since that time, there's been two things that have changed that and raised that number to over the projected number to over 1.4. The first is Standard & Poor's has looked at our credit rating and figures we don't need to fund a debt service reserve, or at least borrow enough money to sit there for 1 year's principal and interest payments. So that's less borrowing we have, therefore increasing savings. And the second thing is, I don't know if you've gotten the word yet, when we did the BCD bonds and the parking garage, we had our rating call with Standard & Poor's about 3 weeks ago. And last week they issued upgrading us from AA+ to AAA. We were AAA on our income tax bonds that we did 3 or 4 months, but now we're AAA on property tax bonds. And congratulations to everybody for the sound financial management that's got us there. This resolution will allow us to issue those bonds In front of you in page 6 shows you in the handout I had, shows you the annual savings and the anticipated gross savings in the next to the last column. And there's a lot of bedtime reading here that'll put you to sleep, but on page 8, you get an idea. They put coupons on the bonds, but then they sell them for premium. But the real interest rate on page 8 is next to the last column, and that's the yield. And you can see that goes from 0.4% up to 2.1%. That's slightly higher than we had on the other bonds because the interest on these bonds is taxable because of the private activity of the private entity that's leasing the hangars. But it's still a great opportunity to lock in some low interest rates for the future. With that, I'll answer any questions, and if not, I'll be back to see you next month.
Any questions for
Now,
Mr. Howard?
I would like to say that, the way I understand it, we're the only county in the state of Indiana that has that AAA bond rating.
Yes.
So,
We were the only one with the AAA income tax, and it's harder to get the good rating for property tax. So we were ahead of everybody before. We're just farther ahead now. Good job.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Amazing news.
Okay, so we'll see that back next month, and we will move on. At this time, I will ask Susan Peterson with Extension to come up and give a short presentation.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to have a little time on your agenda this evening. Presenting with me this evening is Dan Weeks from the Veritas Group, and Mac Knowles, who is a volunteer on our Extension Board Committee. And we have a couple of other people sitting behind us. Brenda, Jane, Scott are also members of this committee. And this evening, we're here to share a little bit about a vision that this life science team has been working on for nearly 5 years. It is a vision for both programming for the Purdue Extension programs, as well as the Hamilton County Fairgrounds. And our vision for this is expanded multi-use facilities would not only expand or enhance our programming, but opportunities for the residents of Hamilton County as well. In our process and throughout our process, we have engaged stakeholders, and we found support in both the upgrades that we're discussing as well as the vision of our conceptual plan. In 2019, the commissioners sent to us, the committee, the Veritas Group, as facility experts when we're looking at the fairgrounds. And tourism at about the same time engaged a design firm called EX2 to assist the committee. In the past, several of our committees members have met with you and shared with several of you. They shared that vision some time ago. And in fact, in March of 2020, we were actually on the commissioner's agenda, that day that everything started turning and shut down. So COVID just kind of changed our timeline of what we were looking at with this vision. But throughout this time, we've continued to communicate, we've refined our plan a little bit, and then between the investment of tourism during this time and then with COVID funds, like we've talked about with buildings and grounds, we've been able to take advantage of some of the things that we felt were in need. And to date, we've currently invested approximately $365,000. That's come to us in the form of several things, but specifically some things on design and branding, 4 new HVAC units for the exhibition center, the touchless restroom items, and all of the facilities at the fairgrounds, as well as improved wiring and sound systems in the exhibition center. We're also kind of awaiting word. We're thrilled to be a part of the grant that Brenda's worked on, the entertainment, the EDA grant, because the fairgrounds is listed in that grant. And also that we are understanding that the HERPA grant that Steve Wood has worked on and looking at solutions for drainage at the fairgrounds, and we're part of that. So waiting word on that, and what that funding amount, we do not know. But we continue to work throughout the last 19 months towards this vision, looking at what resources that we could find and what we could use. And this time I'm gonna ask Dan and Mac to come and tell us a little bit more, not only about the vision, but kind of the work that we've been able to do.
Good evening. Again, as Susan said, my name is Dan Weeks with the Veritas Group. A little over 2 years ago, our company joined this amazing team in order to kind of assess the general condition of the facilities, the buildings, and determine a program to prioritize critical needs, refresh upgrades, and really just an overall visionary goal for this property. As we do at Veritas Group with all of our projects, we focus on people and process. So we formed relationships with the team involved by accompanying them, the board, the stakeholders, on different field trips to see other venues around the state of Indiana, in other counties, just to understand what other organizations and counties are doing. But more importantly, to truly understand what the needs were of this group and the facility in Hamilton County. As part of the process, we completed comprehensive property condition assessments of all the buildings and facilities out there on the property. This included our team walking through each and every building and looking at all of the components, systems, structural systems, exterior claddings, mechanical systems, electrical systems, plumbing, you name it. We went through each and every little aspect of each one of these facilities. And while Steve Wood and his team have done an amazing job on the general maintenance and keeping up with these buildings and grounds, many aspects we just found are simply at or near the end of their remaining useful life. And they're also outdated from when they were originally built. So we have identified some of the buildings that could use significant upgrades. Obviously, there's still a lot of aspects of the grounds that are worth keeping, and we want to utilize that. And just look at upgrades like mechanical systems, electrical systems, ITAV, some of the problematic things they've had out there. But then there's other facilities and buildings that really have just served their useful life to this point. And really, there's no need to try to renovate those. It's just a waste of money to do that. So what we want to do is look at replacing some of these facilities. This not only provides an opportunity for relocation of some of the buildings within the property, of kind of how they relate to other buildings, but also really we can enhance them to give them better uses, more uses throughout the year, and different uses throughout the year. This is where these visionary goals have identified a new life science and show arena venue that will kind of serve as the centerpiece of this fairgrounds property, and create this premier destination that can provide life sciences education for all ages, enhance community involvement, and increase workforce development in our great Hamilton County.
So Dan's going to pass out a few pages that show some of the vision that Susan talked about, and I'm just going to highlight a few of those. If you turn to page 2, you'll see community space, inviting the public to engage and participate, and we hope to take some of this investment and create a more inviting space that is good for all the community and all the people who visit the fairgrounds, not only just during the fair, but throughout the year, and the different events that take place on the fairgrounds. If you look at page 3, it highlights meeting space, laboratories. Some of the meeting space is space that's already rented from the county, so we want to enhance that, have new and additional space that can be rented. We want to have laboratories that can facilitate the investment we want to make in life sciences and some of the programming that we want to work on with that industry. And then page 4 kind of highlights some exterior facilities and improvements and upgrades, with the main centerpiece being the new exhibit center We think that's critical to growing and continuing to provide the programming that we want to now and into the future. So with the increase in programming and the opportunities, we think that one of the neatest things is that it gives us an opportunity to not only engage all the people that visit the fairgrounds, but primarily the youth. And as it relates to life sciences, we think there's an opportunity to educate the youth, to bring industry in and be partners in that evolution. And then hopefully someday we can look at being able to retain. We've got a ton of talent that's exists in our schools here in Hamilton County. And if we can engage industry and we can have good programming, we're hopeful that we can retain some of that talent, either retain them or bring them back after they go on for further education. I also want to bring up the ROI. I know that's a question that gets asked a lot. Brenda Myers with tourism has helped us with that. She's roughed out some numbers, and right now we think we're around a 50% return on our investment. So in additional rental space, we think there's an opportunity to raise the prices for our rental space. And then hopefully, and Brenda will tell you that getting weekday rentals is one of the big wins for us if we can upgrade and attract more weekday rental space instead of just the weekends, because we're pretty much full on the weekends with our existing space. Another thing that has been brought up several times as our committee has worked on this is the Pleasant Street and State Road 37 improvements. And we want to make sure that we engage the city of Noblesville and understand what's going on with Pleasant Street and how that affects our facilities. We know there's going to be an impact to the Winks building, which is the building furthest north on our property near the 19th Street roundabout. So we want to make sure that we temper our investment so it makes sense that we're not putting a bunch of money in that building and then have it be torn down or severely damaged by right-of-way take in the next 2 or 3 years. So we don't know exactly what the timing is on that, but we know that there's going to be future upgrades that are going to cause us to have to pay attention to that. Then lastly, I just want to bring up, we've got a committee that has been working on naming rights and sponsorship opportunities. And again, Brenda has offered to have some of her staff available to us to help us work on naming rights and engaging the industry and getting sponsorship opportunities so that we can further offset the initial investment of what we've got. So we think this is an exciting opportunity for Hamilton County, for the fairgrounds, and I think it'll help us stay, the best county here in Indiana. Thank you.
Again, we thank you. We have copies of these. Some of you remember seeing these design books. This kind of really got our committee excited. And so those of you we had an opportunity to meet with 19 months ago saw a lot of these. But if you don't remember where you have it, you'd like to look at it again, Mac is passing out some more. Again, thank you. And my understanding is that our plan is that we will be back at your November meeting. We just wanted to share a little bit of our vision and be back at your November meeting to discuss the support of financing this.
So we're supposed to digest this and be ready to hand out money in a month?
I think what she's saying is, if I could just jump in, is that they would need to come back to us to prioritize what their request would be for us to then digest. That this was just to inform what has happened since you came in front of us a couple years ago and started talking about this vision and just saying it's still there. COVID has happened, but this vision's still here, and just inform us that there's still this desire to improve our fairgrounds and look at what opportunities they have in front of us.
Absolutely.
To prevent you from just getting an aha in November with this presentation along with an ask, we figured it would be best to at least have the information.
Technically not going to be an ask. It's going to be right? I mean, it's not, you don't plan on slapping this whole thing on the agenda next month, right?
I
I
think,
would think, I'm hoping they share how much it's gonna cost and what their needs are, and then we can go from there.
Prioritization of whether or not you
of
want to
what we
approve
can
it.
do.
And this thing right here is just, there's examples here, right? I mean, there's.
Right, it
you know,
really is designs, it's kind of getting us excited about potentials, and it helps us to look at, what we might.
Well, we got an
Think about it.
ARPA meeting tomorrow, so we'll, by next month, we'll know, whether we're gonna, ARPA will fund part of that drainage project out there or not.
Well, there looks like to be drainage all around all these buildings, I mean, could be wrong.
There's a wide variety of many layers of need in this project, so.
I don't know what that meant, Fred, but,
I'm just trying to find a way to squeeze it in,
yeah, we got you, Susan. Yeah.
Any other
Federal
questions?
dollars, not general.
Thank you very much. We
Thank you
appreciate
very much for your time and for all your help.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When you look at this stuff, I just must say, it's really exciting, and it could be something transformative for our community. And fortunately, we have a lot of transformative projects in front of us we need to consider.
Yeah.
And it's
We got
exciting
transformation
time.
going on all over
Yeah,
the
it's
place.
exciting time, but end of the day, we'll get a lot of it done, and it'll be a great place, continue to be a great place to live.
Sue, just because, no, I'm not gonna say it.
Thank you,
No,
Susan. Moving on to item F, Mr. Nation with the Hamilton County procedural rules. I believe you're just introducing to us for.
Yes. And I emailed each member, and I also handed a copy out, and I also provided that for introduction in the record here tonight. Please look at these. Is there additions, deletions, modifications? We'll discuss it next month as to how we're going to go. Please email me any questions you may have or any corrections you may want to look at. And we'll go through that process, maybe to approve next month or the month after.
Yeah, I applaud you. It looks like you and Chris have done a lot of work on this, so. I mean, I read through all this, there's only one thing I can think of that we'll discuss later, but.
I read through all of it and I have about 12 things I'd like to discuss, so I'll give you a call.
I'll take Fred's call first.
Then you might be able to mark one of mine off
There you
if he
go.
handles it. Thank you so much for all your hard work,
Yeah.
Steve. Really do appreciate it. We will move on to item 11, additional appropriations, reductions, and transfers, and open the public hearing concerning additional appropriations. Item A, Fund 1000, the general fund, requesting $491,528. Item 1 within that is the assessor 2021 and 2022 144 amendments.
So move.
second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 2, an auditor transfer in the amount of $1,009. This is a year-end adjustment.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 3, Commissioners, additional $395,000. Fred, I know you will introduce this. Just know that this is advertised in rainy day and general, so we'll need to make a decision on which we prefer.
We can discuss that in finance, I would think, but, I will.
No, you're supposed to have already discussed.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
so can I have a motion for-
Why would
Motion to
why would we
approve.
have it in two different funds? Yeah, thank you.
So we can decide.
Okay,
Has it been moved? Is it second?
Yes, yes.
okay.
I would just recommend, we go with the general fund because, general fund can't be used for road projects.
I motion.
All right, so if this can be, that's what I would suggest. We'll save the rainy day for
I would think.
highway projects that have restrictions on them.
Okay.
So it seems like we've established the level of the funding. Is there any discussion around the appropriation?
I'll take any questions. Ken and I have been working on this. We met with the sheriff today, like he said, to talk about that, because the sheriff was graceful enough to volunteer first to go through this. And I think that everybody here knows why we're doing it and what we hope to accomplish. Is there any concerns questions right now about this? I know we've
Well,
discussed it.
and just to be frank, it's not just the sheriff's department, it's the whole process of the criminal justice
Exactly.
system. So
So you're looking at courts also?
expansion of the court system was one of the reasons why we had this discussion with the addition of the additional court. How is that being addressed long-term?
Yeah.
And space management, things like that. Right now, we currently, and Sheriff, interrupt me if I'm incorrect, but we have a secure entrance to the courthouse here, and with the addition of courts over across the street, that's doubling the amount of effort and staff you have to have stuff over there for security for people coming in and out of the building.
Yeah, it would increase the security, for sure.
Well, I don't know about, are you agreeing to the double?
I'm not
How many
agreeing to
people we
double.
already
Yeah,
got
it
in
would-
the
it would
courthouse
increase
right now?
From like metal detection. and
That's,
those
I'm
things.
reporting capital infrastructure and things like that. That's just not.
I think you're pulling that out of your back pocket.
We do not have metal detectors over there? We do, we're gonna have to have them now, correct?
Yeah, we would need to have metal.
All right, this is.
This is what I'm
It's a
referring to, is that
hypothetical
we
example.
need to be looking at.
No, I agree that we
efficiencies
should put them
for-
over there, I just, where you got that number. But if you're looking at it, we'll have the professionals tell us, huh?
That's the idea.
That's the idea, and this thing how this will go is, we'll vote, after we vote on this, I'll be in contact with the firm tomorrow. We'll set up a kickoff. That kickoff will be, hopefully we'll get as many council members, commissioners together as possible, but also the members of the sheriff's department, community corrections, and our probation, and, you know, anybody that's involved, hopefully be able to participate in the first kickoff, and we'll start shooting out dates for that. The money doesn't, they work for the first thing, it's kind of on a contingency basis, so there's not gonna be, there's not gonna be anything to the firm until we start seeing some type of results, so I think that's a really good thing too, so.
And then, Robin and John, did we get any clarity on whether or not the contract had already been signed? We talked when we were in the pre-meeting, I couldn't recollect it.
And I believe that, yes, so it was approved pending funding.
Okay. Thank you. And then, the kickoff though, just so I'm clear, we had the kickoff, so is this a follow-up with like a timeline?
Well, this will be a kickoff with these guys, it's gonna be more of these guys discussing things with the various people that are gonna be involved.
Okay, perfect.
That's what that's gonna be.
Okay, great, thank you so
And
much.
I was actually texted him back and forth here today, you know, saying, hey, we're voting on this, we gotta start doing that. He wants to get together, one of them wants to get together tomorrow and speak about it, so.
Okay, great. Is there any other questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Court Administration, 2021 and 2022, 144 amendments. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Court Administration, item B, transfer of 2350. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 5, buildings and grounds reduction and transfer, motion to combine A and B.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Now motion to approve A and B.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 6, emergency management, the acceptance of job description revisions. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item B, 144 amendments, 2021 and 2022. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
And Mr. Booker's up here, we might as well let him speak.
You want
Well,
to?
let's let him wait until we get to the additionals.
Okay.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. May I have a motion to approve the additionals in $60,000 and $36,526.74?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Booker.
Good evening. Thank you for entertaining the motion. Both of these are for COVID response for the expansion of the pod at the fairgrounds in support of the health department. So the $36,000 is for supplies that we'll be using for the pod. And then the $60,000 is for the staffing. This is to get us through the end of the year. And we know that this will ensure that we do not have to come back in November. And at the same time, then whatever is not used will revert back to the general fund. And we will use this money we will request 100% reimbursement through FEMA Public Assistance. I think currently we're up to $175,000 that we've already received back from FEMA. And we're gonna ask, or later on your agenda is even some additional funds that are coming back into the general fund from FEMA. So that's something that we're being very diligent in, and really thankful to Susan Nair, who's with our staff, which is that new recovery position that you approved last year, that's been making sure that we're getting every penny we can from FEMA back for all the COVID support that we're doing for the health department.
Shane, would it be the same layout? Will you be using the whole exhibition center?
I'll let Jason answer that. I think he's got some more insight, and then he even had some revelations today, I think, about the number of vaccines that they'll be offering.
Yes, we are. We're pretty much right now in the same layout. We're ready to go for when Moderna gets approved in a few more weeks, and then also Johnson & Johnson has applied for theirs. So actually, we will probably be giving all three vaccines available at that site. So we will be a one-stop shop probably by mid-November.
And how long do you anticipate that to run?
I would like it to be as short as I can make it, but most likely it'll probably run through the first year. I would suspect probably January.
Okay.
What are you trying to get? If somebody, is this like we just got a flu shot, I just got one, right? So I mean, you do that every year. Is that the same thing with this? With like Pfizer, I mean, do you know anything about how that's going to go?
It's a little hard to say right now. I would think that we'll probably see that happen in the future as we go into next year. There's actually already a company that's working on a flu and COVID vaccine combination. Right now, what we're doing with those boosters, as well as what we're seeing first, seconds, thirds, and boosters as well. So it's almost a combination of all four for at least the Pfizer, and Moderna will be coming online here in a few weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
Nope.
Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And then we have a transfer in the amount of $6,000. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Move on to item 7, the sheriff transfer in the amount of $151,000.
That amount is actually $155,100. The paperwork's correct, the agenda was incorrect.
Thank you.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Treasurer transfer in the amount of $1,475.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 9, probation, we have a 144 amendment.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item B, C, D, and E can be combined. This is regarding the airport, which are all either a local share of the grant or a grant appropriation. Is there a motion to combine B through E?
Motion to combine.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Is there a motion to approve B through E?
So moved.
Second.
On this, we got a motion and a second?
Yes, sir.
On this, these are regular grant reimbursements, but I'd just like permission from our council to pass along to the airport authority that grant AP 35, I want board approval from the airport board on that particular grant rather than staff approval. That is COVID money. It's not figured into their regular, I want to make sure their board is on the record as to where that money's going. It's not an FAA grant.
And you're mentioning AIP 35, not item E?
Correct.
Okay.
Just tell them, you guys need to vote on that one. Is that all right with you?
We have to change the motion, right?
Nah.
No,
Just-
it's
I'm
saying
just-
in their internal process going forward that,
Yeah, the rest of them are just cut and dried FAA reimbursements. This is a COVID
we
grant.
do not.
So it's a friendly
Friendly.
Yeah.
A friend.
Friendly amendment.
Friendly amendment, yeah.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
See that?
Item F, Fund 1138, Cumulative Cap Development Fund, requesting $29,275. Steve Schwartz is item 1 on the additional. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Is there any discussion?
what we're gonna do for 29,000?
We're gonna replace some dead trees.
Trees?
Yes.
What are trees up to a piece these days?
I have no idea. It's what they do when they come through, for instance, that Lowe's ramp that came through Carmel. They went right through the woods there. They had to tear out a bunch of trees. They have to mitigate that. It's different locations.
And we're paying for that?
That is
It's
part
a
of the
requirement
project.
when you go in and tear stuff up, yeah, that's part of it.
Now, put trees back somewhere else, or
So-
wetlands somewhere else.
Right, and you have to maintain those trees for up to 3 years. And you have to check on them and make sure that they're all surviving. After 3 years, they're on their own. So,
Ours died within 3 years.
Kept dead stumps down.
and according to what they have said, the deer have eaten a lot of our trees, so
No.
they're munching on county trees.
Do we
Okay.
have any other discussion regarding the trees?
No.
Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we have a transfer of $99,665. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Item G, Fund 1171, Major Bridge Transfer in the amount of $45,670. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I will strike item H because that was the double advertisement for the commissioners that we approved for the 395 in general. Do I need any motion to strike, or I can just move on? Thank you. Item I, Fund 1211, the GAL fee fund, requesting $3,000. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Fund 1213, Guardian Ad Litem, in the amount of $10,000.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item K, Fund 1219, Park and Recreation Transfer, in the amount of $2,893.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Fund 4508, Lit Bond, requesting $55,600.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Anybody got anything on
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
that?
Aye.
Motion carries. Fund 4905, Digital Orthophotography, requesting $50,000. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Your name's on it, so have at it.
It's to, it has to do with the cultivate the geospatial invoice.
We need
Brad?
geospatial.
It's a contract for GIS services, basically. It has to do with the ARC server.
Okay.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Fund 4907, Highway Special Transfer, in the amount of $57,335.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Fund 8908, FEMA Public Assistance Program, requesting $48,691.63. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
And
What?
Fred, this also has my name on it. It's a reimbursement due to COVID expense.
Good.
Good.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Fund 8952, Emergency Rental Assistance Program. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
This is a pass-through, right?
This is that second phase of the emergency money. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll move on to, I'm sorry, I will close the public hearing. Then we will move on to announcements. Sheriff,
I don't have anything.
thank you. Council Attorney.
I don't have anything, thank you.
Thank you, sir. And Madam Auditor.
Have been.
Awesome. At this point, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody care to